Coverage of the 2017 Cinegear Expo is brought to you in partnership with Blackmagic Design. Let's do it. Alright, what's going on? So today I've come over to meet a guy who I've been wanting to meet for ages, ever since, 8 years ago or so, when I first saw his demo reel. This guy's name is Ian Pfaff, or Pfaff, we'll figure that bit out. And he is an LA-based director and writer. In this first part, we'll be checking out what makes a good demo reel. Now, before you switch away from this guy has got, I think, the best demo reel, the most effective demo reel, particularly if you're getting started. So let's go inside and take a look.
And we're back with Ian Pfaff. We're about to play your demo reel. You write, edit, direct, animate, build props, make music. Anything you'd like to add?
No, man, just play the motherfucking clip.
Your show reel, that caused, it made some waves at the time. I don't think, I think it's probably fair to say that most people probably hadn't seen a reel like that before. I mean, what the hell were you thinking?
Part of the thing about the demo reel is it's pure desperation. I was just really needed a job and really wanted a job. And so I just graduated film school a few years ago. I'd made a few demo reels the way you're supposed to do it, where you take, your best student film and then you put the best shots from that in there and then pepper it in with some other stuff you've done and then throw a cool indie rock song onto it and just let everyone know how artistic and serious you are. And so I'd done a few of those and they're just kind of whatever. And then so I decided that rather than just make a reel where I was trying to get any job, well, let me rephrase. I was trying to get any job, but I figured maybe a better take would be try to get a specific job. Mm. So I decided that I wanted to see if I could get a job on that show Robot Chicken. And so I was like, what would they want to see? And so I just decided to make like kind of this irreverent thing, show them that I can build stuff. Like, oh, they're not looking for a director? Well, maybe a guy who can build stuff. Oh, not that? Maybe a guy who can animate. Just kind of like, listen, guys, I'm the guy you're looking for. Yeah. And then I ended up just kind of capturing more or less my personality at the time that people really seemed to respond to that most of all. So I never got the job at Robot Chicken, but I ended up getting a lot of other things through that reel. Right. So,
I mean, you were, 25 at the time or so, and I guess you were treading the path that many others had trod. Did you go to film school or? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I went to film school at the Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, Georgia. So I was a film major, and that was awesome. And then I'd spent 3 years after film school working in Chicago as an assistant editor at a post-production place that does TV commercials. And, just that wasn't really what I wanted to be doing, so I came out to LA, and it was great because I had a lot of friends from school that were out here, so I showed up on a Friday and had a job on a Monday. So the first 2 months in LA were a breeze, and then the show I was working on got canceled, so all of a sudden, end of day Friday, hey, we don't need you on Monday. And so I had a little bit of a panic and was like, oh no, I need a job. And then I remember I was so mad, I was like, you need me to make a fucking demo reel? I'll make a motherfucking demo reel. And that's where I got the idea of doing a rap song about it. Yeah. Just started, next thing I know, I'm rapping motherfucking demo reel.
It's my motherfucking demo reel.
When I first saw that, I mean, there were a number of different levels it kind of hit me on. One was there was a lot of work that had gone into it that was only for the demo reel that would never see light of day again. You wrote a whole song, a rap. You produced loads of shots. I mean, I'm not sure if the thing with the dildo on it for a nose, was that for the demo reel?
That would be my good-looking senior or student film that gets peppered in there.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, that was my senior thesis was... It was great. It was a video making fun of short films. So
right, okay. That makes more sense. Dildo. I mean, so many people start out as you have or as I did and put together a demo reel. And we've seen, I imagine you've seen them, I've seen countless demo reels where they're full of some real shonky work. And then there'll be a couple of clips that are quite nice. Mm-hmm. But at times it's pretty questionable whether whoever's submitting that to you can take full credit for that particular clip. So, I mean, you were, 25 at the time or so, and I guess you were treading the path that many others had trod. Did you go to film school or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I went to film school at the Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, Georgia. So I was a film major, and then I'd spent 3 years after film school working in Chicago as an assistant editor at a post-production place that does TV commercials. And, it was great because I had a lot of friends from school that were out here, so all of a sudden, end of day Friday, hey, we don't need you on Monday. And so I had a little bit of a panic and was like, oh no, I need a job.
And it's difficult, you know, when you start out, you don't have much stuff to throw into a reel. You've got, as you say, your student film and what have you. And creative block's going to set in pretty quick. Though that's not an excuse for anything. I mean, how do you, or what was your thought process to get to where you did?
I think, so by the time I'd made this demo reel, I think I'd made 2 other ones. One, like, right out of film school, and another one, you know, somewhere in between. And they were pretty cookie cutter, just by the numbers. And I think when it came around to making this one, I knew that I just needed, I think part of it is in reality I didn't have, because I saw other reels that friends of mine were making that had stuff that looked really good, or like, I just realized like I didn't have the really good looking shoot because I hadn't done one yet. And so it was more like, how do I just kind of show what I can do or want to do? So that was kind of the idea going into it. And then I think also just like from being an assistant editor, I saw a lot of reels from like other post-production houses would send their reel, or I'd watch a lot of DP reels, or I'd watch a lot of people's reels. And a lot of my film school friends, I'd see their reels, and every now and then you'd get someone who did something a little clever. Like I remember a buddy of mine, you know, he just filmed himself putting a VHS tape that said so-and-so reel into a VCR, and then you watch the, you know, just like making little intros. Yeah. And so I had enough of like a seed in there of like, oh, I should maybe do something a little more interesting. And then it was just one of those things like, at the same time I was doing a lot of hip hop stuff, so it just came natural that I would make a track, because I'd been making a bunch of hip hop tracks around the house. So it was just like, hey, I'll make one of these for a reel. So a lot of it just kind of happened. Not a lot of thought went into it. It's just, it made sense. And I think just the reality of like being on the other side where you get a stack of reels and have to dig through them, just knowing how similar they all are. And there is a format, so I just wanted to do something that's the exact opposite. I wanted to have it stand out.
There's no debate. Yo, shit's good, but my shit's great.
What advice would you have for people who are trying to sort of set out? Because, as you say, there are mountains of show reels, and when you're mid-20s, kind of skills-wise, people are more or less the same, aren't they?
Yeah, I think because when I made it, I had no expectation whatsoever that this was going to blow up by any, like, the reality of it too is I didn't even finish it. Like, I sent it to a friend of mine in Chicago, like, hey, what do you think of this thing? Because I was like finishing it up, and then he put it on his blog, and then it blew up. Right. So it was like a complete accident that it even worked. So I know, like, at the time, there was no strategy other than I just thought, hey, this would be fun, this would be cool, try something different. But since seeing that kind of the success that's come from that, I think a couple of the things that I've learned that are good about it is, one, like in the reel, like you're saying, my personality comes across. So any meeting or job or anything I've gotten through that reel, it's pretty disarming in that whoever I'm meeting with or working for, they've heard me say motherfucking a bunch of times. They've seen me shirtless at 1,000 frames a second. like they know who they're hanging out with and vice versa. So it's kind of like, it removes a step in terms of like, all right, we get each other right away. Like, you like this thing? Cool. That means we're on the same page, as opposed to just like, well, you had some good looking shots. Let's discuss, So I think it's really important to get your personality out there, because a lot of times, especially on like film stuff, like personality is huge, because on top of like, everyone can make stuff that looks good. Like, it's supposed to look good. So if your demo reel looks good, great, it's supposed to. So it's more about like, do I want to work with this person, or is this person going to come up with ideas that are going to help this thing out? So I think a lot of advice that I've been, whenever people ask me for advice on demo reels or show me what they're working on, what I've kind of learned is that it's most important to like showcase your personality and your potential rather than what you've already made. Because unless, if you have stuff you've already made that you're really proud of and looks great, definitely show that, because that's showing your personality and your potential. But that's the point of a reel. Yeah. And then that's really been cemented when I was working at places like Nickelodeon or Funny or Die, where we would get submissions of people's reels. And the thing you never think about until you're in that position is that the person who's looking at reels is probably looking at 30 in a day. Yeah. And if they're not in it in the first 10 seconds, they're just going to go to the next one. Or best case scenario, they're just going to skip through it. So it's really like that's probably the biggest advice I give to everyone. Just give somebody something they'd want to look at.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Yeah. And that makes sense. And you touched on it there, but your show reel as it went up online, I mean, it's fair to say it wasn't unanimously loved. There were some... It was pretty divided in terms of the audience, and for me, that's really what struck me as, you know, if I could find out some of the people who made the comments, they'd just go straight into blacklist, and that'd be that. But have you found that your demo reel has hindered you in any way, or are you just finding there are some people out there that are that way?
It certainly is not hindered. I mean, even now when I go up for work or get set up with meetings, it's usually the demo reel that really interests people, because I think that's probably the most exciting thing, you know, because there isn't anything else like it. Like, you know, a lot of the work that I've done is just work I get hired to do, so it's a lot of the work other people have done. So a lot of times that stuff isn't what gets people excited. It's more this thing they haven't seen before.
Right.
It's like, whoa, this is crazy. The goal is that eventually I'll be doing stuff where the actual work is like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But until then, just a gun for hire. But and so I think the short answer is no, not at all. Like, it's been, I mean, because I think what ended up happening with that reel is just kind of showed, like, here's what this dude's like, but can do kind of anything. And so just the amount of work I've gotten through that reel, like, I remember in the first week that reel blew up on the internet, I got hired to compose a score for some commercial. I got hired to write a comedy, like viral, like a comedy, like branded ad. I got hired to do a rap song for someone, and I got hired to edit some stuff, and then I also got hired to direct a music video. So it was like all that from one reel.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty insane. And I think the one thing that struck me about it, and I guess is your experience as well, that people create a demo reel to get themselves work, but what you've produced is something, and I think resonated with me, is that it's a two-way deal. You know, you need the work and you want the work, and in all likelihood you probably work for anybody at that point in time. However, your demo reel there has cleared out a whole bunch of people who, you know, in the long term you really wouldn't want to work with.
Yeah.
So the people in the comments who were saying you were unprofessional and this bum's never going to get anything, whatever, you know, those are the guys you're not going to want to work with anyway.
It took me about as far as I've gotten. I ended up, through that demo reel, I ended up getting representation. So I got an agent and a manager from that. And then through the representation, you know, a lot of meetings with different production companies, studios, TV networks. So just kind of got my name out there. And then ultimately, you know, I was doing a lot of work with some comedians, probably most notably TJ Miller. So there was like a good year there where I was just like his dude that would just make videos for him whenever he wanted to make something. And then through him and the representation, I ended up getting hired at Funny or Die. So I worked there for 2 years, which was great. It was like an in-house writer-director. And then I left Funny or Die and went straight to Nickelodeon as like an in-house writer-director, which was a really good fit for me. And then kind of been freelance ever since then. So yeah, like without that demo reel, I don't know how I would have gotten that first leg up into all that other stuff. So
I mean, I guess today people can see your work on the Funny or Die channels, on some of the stuff still on Nickelodeon, right? Yeah. Well, I'll put a whole bunch of links to where you can see Ian's work below, and next time out we'll check out what he did with his kids' cars. So that was the first part of our conversation with Ian Pfaff, and thank you for watching it. Links to his show reels and all the rest of it are below, and we're going to catch up with Ian again shortly, or you can click somewhere around here and you may be able to see the second part where we'll talk about his latest goings on converting little tykes into Mad Max cars. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe and share if you like. That'll do.